Hare Krishna. Welcome back all of you again to the story of He Was Always There. We are now discussing episode 3. We are talking here of an incident which I experienced in Heidelberg, Germany, and in some of you are joining here new, I would request you to see the episode 2. The link of the same I have provided in the description below. So we are now discussing day 2, Rubaru with history. Morning was even prettier. It was a Saturday and we were relatively free as we were all ready for going out. We wanted to go out as early as possible. And when I came down from my room, I saw that our 4-wheel driven Pearl Pico was being made ready for another day. Normally, I get up from early morning and I was looking through the window the beautiful ambience and scenery visible across the range. I was wondering how quickly we can reach those lofty mountains. We had a plan to be away for the whole day and therefore Mukesh packed sufficient food and water. We also loaded Afsin's camera with the camera stand with some rope, knife and first aid kit. Deepak had been cleaning the car since morning because it had travelled considerable distance the earlier day and we were supposed to spin even today whole day. Yesterday the car was driven by Afsin and today it was Mukesh's turn. So Mukesh was on the wheel and as usual Afsin climbed the car beside him with the local guide map. Deepak and me sat in the back seat with camera. The vehicle rolled out. The first destination will be Heidelberg Castle. As per our local map, it is showing 12-kilometer distance. Although we were able to see that straight, but the roads are round the hill and through dense forest. And Afsin told that before that there is a beautiful chapel called St. Peter's Chapel and it is a customary to visit that chapel before going to the castle. The river was flowing wonderfully in the wonderful rhythm and I was clicking picture. In those days, digital photography was not so famous and we had to depend on camera roll. So Mukesh cautioned me as in this area not everywhere camera rolls are available very easily. The road was actually following the river. Initially we were seeing some students, aged workers, cyclists, and also we were getting Europe's characteristic bakery shop with smell of fresh baked bread, loaves. There were small cottages with little kids playing. Sometimes we were seeing flock of goats crossing the road. Quite a few swans we could also see. But now as we are ascending, the hill roads were emptier. The variety of the tree was also changing and now we see trees of pine variety more prevalent. We saw some peasants cuckooing loudly. Many squirrels we could see and once a porcupine crossed the nearby road. Mukesh was humming a Hindi song and Naserian said, "Come on, do it loudly. The locality has finished and almost no one is going to judge us." From time to time, he was guiding Mukesh on the way forward and directional change. The green range of forest was so soothing to eyes. Alps range is so picturesque. Very strong smell of eucalyptus attracted us. A flock of sheep was crossing road. We had to stop until they all had finished. We also had to stop sometime later when a group of pigs were crossing. Tossing away my camera, I was drinking the beauty of the nature with both eyes. Camera obviously cannot catch these experiences. Sometimes I feel instead of visiting popular tourist destination, if we take out some small out of the way countryside trip, we learn to know lot many local heritage and unparalleled beauty. I asked casually to Afsin, in this dense forest, is there any possibility of finding wild and carnivorous animal also? He said, yes, oh yes, by all means. And you know something interesting? Even if they attack some one of us, government is not going to come to our protection. Because these forests are all protected forests and we are not supposed to venture in without permission. Everybody burst into laughter. After coming to a particular point, we had to stop because the car cannot move in the narrow road any further, which was ending towards a large church. What we understood that the church is the greatest church and we need to visit the castle. In reality, this church has been built from a past church. The chapel was built approximately and it had witnessed many dynasties. It is a common belief that somebody who would pray their desire will get fulfilled here. Absin told us to carry the water bottle, light snacks, and walking stick. He also advised us to lock the door well because in this forest there are many wild boars and bear and we need to be little cautious while walking. Of course, during daytime it was quite safe. We did not have much habit of walking through the dense forest. After a few minutes, we realized it required a lot of practice and there was a chance of falling down everywhere. There were many blueberry trees on the way. Blueberries were lying on ground in abundance. We were very thrilled to pick up blueberry as much as we could, but later on we got bored and we left all of them. This church, design and sculpture was of Gothic style. Very gorgeous color. A huge door as high as two-story building greeted us. The door was made of pure wood. The church was made on a hill and then it was so high. No wonder we could see the church and castle from quite a distance. I had earlier visited Versailles Palace. It's in Paris and had a fair idea how grand the palaces and the castles become in Europe. I was expecting a grand encounter with history. Medieval history attracts me always since childhood.
We are near 700
Mukesh chided
from
me.
France. The place is
What are you
so
thinking
far.
and going? Let's
And
move.
from far,
Let's
honest
move
to
quickly.
arrive
We have
there,
very
we
less
move
time
with a
to
telescope
cover
here.
3 important
We are
monuments by
staying
4
here
p.m.
for some time. Probably expected to
One
stay for
monk
another
with
1
completely
month.
white robes were
Some of the
distributing tickets to enter the church.
So good.
As we had
Today is
approached
Sunday,
him,
early
he
morning
blessed
Sunday,
us
around 9 o'clock,
with fatherly
9:15.
affection and he was
And
carrying a
some of
charmer.
the videos I am just
He
posting.
lightly touched the
They are
same on
so
our
good.
head.
Amazing.
Possibly he did not
The
know
place
English.
looks
In Deutsch,
absolutely like
he
picture,
spoke
picture
few
postcard.
instructions and
And
he
also,
pointed
you know,
his
the
finger to
blue
notice
sky,
me.
cold
Deepak was
weather,
continuously blabbering
good
and was
ambience,
giggling with Mukesh.
and
He
also
put his finger on his
very
lips.
calm and quiet,
We
serene
understood
atmosphere.
that we should maintain silence in this
It's
place.
really good. I
It
am
was
leaving
however
some of the
planned
photo, some of the
that
video
since
with
it
you.
was a huge church,
Maybe you will
we should
like
roam around
while seeing.
independently
Thank you.
with assistance of the audio guide. We agreed to meet 2 hours later near the same gate where we are standing now. Audio guide were nothing but a cassette recorder with a new set of earphones. In many museums in Europe like Louvre Museum, Versailles Palace, King Palace in Munich, I had used the device. So I was very comfortable to work with this. The audio guide costed us €1 each. I chose to start from the first floor and started climbing the staircase. The walls were covered with fabulous painting, mostly related to Jesus Christ's life. Once I reached first floor, I realized it is as high as fifth floor of a normal building. Could see magnificent view of forest. I unfortunately left the camera with Afsin, so I could only enjoy with my eyes. deep green all around in steps of hills, and below there are trees of different varieties, birds chirping, amazing. The audio guide was describing when this part of the chapel was built, who was the king, why the sculpture tile, how it is built, etc. etc. Then I came down to the ground floor. The hall was well decorated with old artifacts. In many paintings, resurrection of Jesus was depicted. Few meters away, one American couple, seemingly newly married, was discussing on the castle and church. The boy is of dark complexion, maybe of African background, and the girl was typical blonde. On the first floor, there was a viewing window being used by the upper strata people to keep an eye on the common mass. In one place, there was a board where gospels were written, and a good numbers of memoirs were kept. I spent considerable time in the first floor and then moved to the basement. Apparently, there were a lot of statues there as well. I checked my wristwatch. We had still 65 minutes left. The basement was basically a graveyard in center, and on four sides of the same beautiful garden with lovely flowers and statues. There were many graveyards on which people have left fresh flower. The area was quite dark. There were huge walls with many high trees. In some places the sunlight is seeping through the trees. In one corner an elevated platform is built on which I could see few people who were doing meditation. Overall very quiet ambience. I also sat for 2 minutes. It was very relaxing. I hurriedly crossed the places to see as much as I could. In one side the wall was broken, and I could see deep forest through the gap. However, I need to visit the upper deck again, hence I came back to the ground floor level. I also saw a large statue of St. Augustine. The chapel was of St. Peter. Somehow St. Augustine's statue was little misfit there. However, this statue had a very wonderful handiwork design. The statue had a very absent-minded look. I looked at the eyes for quite some time. It appeared to me very fascinating. And behind the statue, there was completely open space. And from that area also, I could see the end of the hill and forest below. The mud in that place was quite soft. It seemed last night there was rain, and that might have created the same. I was wondering, these statues are witness of so many historical facts. Just in case they were able to speak, a completely new history book might have been written today. Something similar to the pensive of Harry Potter movie. When I reached the upper floor, some prayer meeting was going on. Some priests were reading text, and all visitors present there were repeating in recitation. It was in Deutsch language, but was quite divine tune. I stopped for some time and I wanted to witness the ceremony. I was not able to understand much. After a long speech, some carol songs were being played and sung. I waited and I started enjoying the whole thing. I observed the first priest whom we met outside had now joined the service, and he was waving a fan to the deity. He courteously nodded his head when our eyes met. I started browsing all the paintings one by one in that room, and also the vault which was kept had a very unique inscription which also attracted my eyes. Meanwhile, the prayer meeting was over and the people started moving away one by one. My wristwatch told me that there are still 30 minutes left for me to reach the main gate. So I started exploring more. Earphone told me behind the altar of St. Peter there is a staircase which goes down, and that's exactly below St. Peter's statue. In the basement, St. Peter's mortal burial is available. And it cautioned that the same is available for public viewing only in specific days of a year. I walked behind the statue with an expectation that there would be a gate with a lock. And as expected, there was a huge collapsible gate. Spiral staircase was visible behind that. The only difference is that the gate was wide open. There was a table placed near the door, and possibly some people had left flowers on the same as well. I remembered in Goa for St. Xavier's Church also there was a similar staircase which went below the statue. In 1975 there was a news that the moral burial had fresh blood oozing out. However, while descending down the stairs, I realized that in this part of the church the natural light was quite low. Even the walls beside the staircase were also decorated with large paintings. On the stairs and beneath the main gate there was watermark, which means somebody might have washed and mopped the area. I was thanking my stars. I was thanking them that despite of visiting on a normal day, I however would be able to see the burial statue. It was also written somewhere that many people assemble below the statue on auspicious days, as it is believed that whatever someone asked touching the burial comes out to be true. I was however in no mood of asking anything, but only was wondering that in every religion, always human keep on asking miracles, favor from God. How many actually ask God himself is a little wonder. Slowly I reached middle of the room. The point was possibly the center most point of the church. Here sunlight was almost absent. I was getting a very pleasant smell. Maybe some time back for a scent they might have used, or maybe some fire stick they might have burnt. There was a large altar, and on the top of it the coffin was placed. What a intricate design on the body of the coffin. This is the witness of several centuries. Post-mutiny, as a memory of the victory, one golden cover was provided on the top of the coffin. I was really lucky to be able to see all this. I paid my obeisances to the structure and was extremely happy. Started walking back to reach the gate so that my mind was full of bliss, and I was eagerly waiting to share this good luck story to all others, who by now I am sure would have assembled near the main gate. I slowly climbed the staircase and reached on the upper floor, and suddenly my heart skipped. There was a huge lock on the door from outside, and the collapsible gate was closed. Oh God! That means someone might open the whole thing for washing, and as his work was over had closed the door and went away. The place was so solitary, no one might have bothered to see that if somebody like me had sneaked through the gate. In a moment, all my happy state of mind turned to a condition of agony. I was even precipitating during this cold weather. Many plans came in my mind, but none proved workable. I was knocking the lock, sounding the gate, but in empty church I could only hear the echoes. I was shouting and calling obscene, but only I was the audience. Few minutes back there were so many people in the prayer hall, and now it is completely deserted. Maybe after the mass they might have all gone back, and might have even the main door also they might have locked. My watch said that the scheduled meeting time had passed 15 minutes back. Maybe my friends were now searching for me. Out of despair my throat dried, and I took out the small water bottle and sipped the water and sprinkled on my eyes and face, imagining it might be a dream. But it was a bitter reality, and I was trapped. I did not know how long I was standing. My legs were paining, and I sat on the staircase. And then I poured all the components of my bag. There was a torch which can come to my rescue. Light is visible. I was looking for a window, etc., so that I can give light signal, but there was none. This is a completely closed chamber. Before losing all hopes, I remember that the altar and coffin was believed to be live and able to grant wish to devotees. So with hope and tears in my eyes, I dragged me to the coffin, crawled near the same, sat down on the cold floor. Remembering the hero of the story of named Guptodhan, written by Rabindranath Tagore, where the hero named Mrityunjay, who was in a similar condition, wished only to see sunlight once. I sat down on meditation with eyes closed. Now in this solitary church, only me and God. Even if I die, at least I would die near Him. That would have been a great fortune. I closed my eyes, completely surrendered to God, and I was praying His mercy. In front of my eyes, many old incidents were happening, and they were happening like a dream, as if I am a traveler sitting beside a road, and many incidents are just like a stream passing in front of me. And I was seeing one by one dynasty, battles, celebration, screaming, lot of hymns. I was seeing French mutiny, rise of the kings and monarchs, battle, death, and also lot of pomp and grandeur of different noblemen. There was also an audio record explained all incidents to me. I could see this church being built, paintings being made, lot of kingsmen doing discussion. They were fighting, killing of so many people inside church, and on the background the same music which I was just hearing during prayer, as if I was hallucinating. The sceneries were so vivid that I was feeling sometimes elated, sometimes sad. I was not sure if I belonged to 21st century or I was part of 15th century. It was a feeling of joy, and I was not interested to open my eyes at all. As if it was a completely different me. My objective was different, my wishes are different, my temperament is different, and I was flooded with joy, tears rolling out from my eyes. My head was so heavy that it was looking for a place to take rest, but my mind wanted it to be alert and see all details. Then I saw a very bright light, very fluorescent one, as if like many suns together burning, and in that light I am seeing the bishop with white cloak, beard, and same smile whose statue I had just seen on the basement floor. He was looking at me directly with a bead string in his one hand and the other hand in a blessing pose, as if he was telling me not to fear. Then he slowly faded away. Everything was dark, very pitch dark. I still did not open my eyes. I lied down on the same floor. I do not want to open my eyes. I went on deep sleep. Whole body is spinning, but my mind was in ecstasy, in pin drop silence. Possibly I lost all my senses. The remaining story I heard from Mukesh later. They searched me in all directions, even went down to the forest to see by chance if I had fallen down, and they discussed that the forest was full of carnivorous animals. They then came back to church, spoken to the guard, requested the priest for the permission for searching. It was very difficult. However, Afsin could manage to get the permission. The priest joined the search, and they were searching me all along. Could not find me anywhere, and they almost lost hope. When suddenly Afsin could see the painting behind Saint Augustine's statue, where in very large font, bold letter, my name was written in Spanish and with an arrow pointing towards down. The priest had agreed to open the lock, and they recovered my senseless body. Wait. Do not ask me who wrote my name on the painting. I do not know Spanish. And the church was closed long time back. In Bhagavad Gita 4.5, Sri Bhagavan said, the personality of Godhead said, many births, both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. I now, looking in the retrospect, understand the verse well. Hare Krishna.